Hello, everyone. Welcome to Development Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me today is Jiunn Liu and Seth Geis. How you guys doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing well because I can answer the question.
There you go. So today we are talking about the Davidoff Chefs Edition 50th anniversary. The cigar is a Toro Extra 6x54. Comes out of the Davidoff factory in Dominican Republic. The wrapper is from the Dominican. The binder is Mexican San Andres Negro, and the filler is Dominican Piloto Visus, Yamasa Visus, San Vicente Mejorado Ligero, and Nicaraguan Esteli Visus. Price point is $30, and the cigar was released in September of 2018. So with all that out of the way, Jiunn, what was your smoking experience like?
It was good. So first third, I think mostly every Davidoff cigar that I have, I get quite a bit of like a very pronounced like hay kind of like grass kind of a note to it. But for this one, it was still that, but there's a twist to it. I got also a fair amount of like a pretty aggressive dry red pepper spice to it. There's even like a hint of like a spicy cayenne pepper with it. So along with those notes, dark espresso, got a lot of cocoa layering the palate, retrohaling, got some underripe stone fruits, dried nuts, and then of course increased spice in that red pepper spice. Finish was pretty lengthy, with just like a very long lingering cedar. And this is a strong cigar. I mean, just within the first third, with him like getting like an inch to it, it was medium full in strength, and body was medium. Moving through the profile, second third, it was my favorite part of the cigar. I felt like the flavors ramped up more, so I got more like that dry red pepper spice. Also got a lot of like mouth-watering like notes of like espresso beans, minerals. Got a subtle creaminess, citrus bread. It was really good. It was just definitely the highlight of the cigar for me. And within the last third, it kind of shifts back to that spicier format. And then with minerals and espresso beans to follow. And the last third, the strength, even though the flavors are good, it was really strong. It pretty much was full strength for me. And then the body was still medium, finishing out. In terms of construction, I rated the burn to be very good. So the only downside was some unburnt wrapper parts. But other than that, it was great. And the draw was perfect.
How about you, Seth? What was your smoking experience like?
Yeah, when you have a complex cigar with tons of transitioning, these video recaps just become more interesting and more involved than a bland cigar.
Right.
First third really showed a lot of, there was just began with some wood. I was getting some cherry notes, like some dark cherry. So there's tobacco notes. Wait a minute, that's the aroma. Whoopsies. Never mind. Back it on up.
Quite the memorable cigar for you, Seth.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my notes. First third really started off with some soft red pepper spice. I was getting some leather. There's some earthy qualities, some oak, and I was also getting like a soft licorice, almost like that genuine anise, spice quality to it. Really medium full first third. When I get into the second third, there's a lot more transitioning. I was getting some chocolate, coffee beans, sweet spices, a little bit of cinnamon to it. It was still remaining medium full. As Jiunn said, it's a Davidoff with some oomph to it. And then when we get into the final third, really it's some more transitioning. They were showing some herbal spices, some mineral qualities. There was this little mintiness to it on the finish, which was really unique. Which just kind of like cleansed the palate, it seemed like. But it was still smoking at a medium full level. Really good construction. I mean, the first third, it kind of was not the best part, but as the cigar progressed, it just got better and better. The draw was to my liking as well. There's a good bit of tobacco in there, so it wasn't too loose. It was tightly rolled. So really well-rolled cigar. What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, for me, it started with musty wood, some earthiness, a little mild black pepper to it, half inch in, some slight cream joins the profile, and then about an inch in, I get a little bit of a vegetal note that's detectable with the musty wood up front, and the cream of the black pepper in the background. Retrohale's musty wood, a little bit of a light vegetal note there. Further in, musty wood and cream are equal levels. Black pepper and vegetal note kind of even in the background. Strength was right at medium. Second third, musty woods up front, cream, vegetable note, black pepper, very light in the background. A little further in, musty wood takes on a little bit of char, some black pepper in the background. Cream and vegetable notes kind of leave the profile, and then a little further in, some cream joins back in with the charred and musty black wood and black pepper. Red Trail's same profile, a little bit of bite from the pepper, and char picks up as the third's wrapping up. Strength kind of remains at the medium level mark. Final third, cream and pepper drop out. Charred musty wood, kind of what the profile consists of. A little further in, the cigar starts warming up, brings a little bit of a toasted note to the charred and musty wood. A little bit of black pepper kind of returns the profile. And then about an inch in, the profile kind of keeps maintaining on, just becomes a little bit fuller. Strength bumps up to the slightly above medium mark. In regards to the burn, it was pretty wavy the entire time. I never touched it up, though. There were some small pieces of the wrapper where the burn line kind of went around them, and they kind of fell off with the ash. Ash held on 1 inch and a quarter increments, and it was a little bit flaky. In regards to the draw, it was on the looser side. Didn't seem to cause any issues with the smoking experience, but I couldn't really say for sure. So, Jiunn, what were your overall thoughts on this cigar?
I wrote my overall comments, and it wasn't very classy, but that's okay. I said this is Davidoff with a pair of like some Chinese year of the ox sized balls, so like big massive balls. So it's true. I mean, it's everything that you'd expect from Davidoff, right? It's complex, it's nuanced, it builds, it's flavorful, but you typically wouldn't expect just sort of a full throttle strength and aggressiveness and pepper that this Chef's Edition has. So it's interesting. I kind of feel like within some of these newer releases, and perhaps starting from like when they released in Nicaragua, they kind of like try to play around with more like bolder flavors and more strength and pepper. Even with like Doja's release, granted I haven't had it, but it's supposed to be Davidoff that's more amped up and strength and boldness and flavor. So this is a pretty, if it's going to be anything reminiscent of what I smoked at within this Chef's Edition, it's a good move, and I really enjoy the cigar.
How about you, Seth? What are your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it delivers. It's what I call like the modern Davidoff. Ever since kind of Davidoff Nicaragua, they've still shown that classiness of Davidoff, but at the same time, they're continuing to show that they can work with different types of tobacco and they can make stronger blends and more complex blends. It's really flavorful. It's got a good strength level, especially for a Davidoff. It's a really special cigar. I mean, I think it's a great chef's release. I think the story behind it's fantastic. I just think it goes to show what Davidoff can do with tobacco, and that they are an incredibly creative group of people. You?
I was quite disappointed in the cigar, but I'll give some background to that. So we smoked the cigar on the formula with Klaus, and I felt that this cigar was a fantastic cigar. The cigar I smoked for this review was not that same cigar. When I first held the cigar, I felt it was fairly light, so maybe it was underpacked. I had a loose draw, so that might have played into it as well. It just didn't perform like that first cigar that I smoked. So I think that I probably just got a bum stick, but when it comes to reviews, you review what you smoke. So that's what I did. Really departure from what you guys had experience with. I had that similar experience when I smoked it the first time, but this one just didn't have that richness and complexity that the first one had. Musty wood, black pepper, at times cream, some vegetal note. Construction wasn't the greatest, but it didn't really require any attention. Strength was right around medium. I felt that the strength was higher level when I smoked it initially. So I don't know if it was missing tobacco or it was just real loose and that had a huge effect on it. I don't know what it was, but it was just there was just something wrong with this one. So I don't know if this has anything to do with the consistency of the product, or it just like there's just the one random one. So we'll have to see how that goes. But if I could get more of the first one, I'd say it's a fantastic cigar. If I get more of what I smoked here, I would say it's too expensive for the experience that you get. So kind of have to take it for what it is. So I guess I'd say go with the other guy's opinion, because that's the same opinion I had the first time I smoked it. I just think I got that one random cigar in the box that just didn't perform well. So getting into the scores, Seth, you gave it a 7.98. Jiunn, you gave it a 7.42, and I gave it a 5.75. So how do you think that matched up with your experience, Seth?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely lines up with the experience, at least for my two cases. And, it's unfortunate for your experience. And I can, in my opinion, just to feed off of that, when you price a cigar at $30, they need to be consistent from stick to stick. And I understand that these are handmade and manufacturers will tell me I'm wrong in saying this, but if you're going to price something at $30, you buy one and it's terrible, no one's going to spend any more money on it, especially for $30, and they're going to turn away from the brand. So I haven't had that in my experiences, but still, it's just one person gets it. That's just not, it's inexcusable.
Right.
So
how about you, Jiunn? That match up with your experience?
Yeah. It was a good cigar. I mean, I don't know if I want to smoke it all the time because I typically don't like strong, cigars that are this strong. But smoking it a second time, I ate a huge meal before I smoked this, knowing that it's a pretty strong cigar, and it was still pretty strong smoking it. But nonetheless, I mean, I think it's good to say, although I really enjoyed it, I think if you're one of those classic Davidoff smokers, I don't think you're gonna like this cigar. Mm-hmm. It's very, very, it's got a kick for sure. So
right. Yeah, my score matches up perfectly. I mean, I scored it based on what I smoked, and that was, mid to upper fives, which is, there's a lot of cigars I smoked this year that are around that. And me vocalizing my disappointment is just because I know how good this cigar can be. I was looking forward to that again and being able to, review it and kind of really focus on it. But I didn't bash the cigar because it didn't perform. I didn't knock it down a bunch of extra points. I got what I got. It was a slightly above average cigar, and that was that. But this cigar can be great, and I think you have to take what the other guys say over kind of what I say in regards to what the cigar can be. So any other final thoughts from you guys on this one?
Negative.
All right. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. But also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on all both social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.